Nuovarden is a dimension of wide-open mystery and infinite discovery, created by our very own DungeonMisterTy and published by Adventure Slang Productions. You can learn all about this dynamic game system and wondrous setting at adventureslang.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Superior Adventures Guild. My name is Dave, your humble host tonight for part 2 of our Nuovarden campaign with a bunch of beautiful people playing a bunch of really interesting characters. And gosh, Ty, the creator, is here to be the seer and our guide into this wonderful world that he created. I'm not going to say a whole lot other than thank you all for being here. Thanks to the players for jumping in on this opportunity to play in a game with Ty. Really quick, we've got a couple of announcements. There's a lot going on here at the Guild. One of those things is our Shade Song game tomorrow night, Coldest Sun. It's the second to the last Shade Song session of the season. So join us tomorrow. Bleak Season will be taking an awesome group of folks back into the world he created. And then on Sunday, we are going to be wrapping up our Blade Runner campaign. It's our finale. It's going to get absolutely wild. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some big reveals and some serious drama. It just keeps ramping up with the tension. Monday, we come back for part 3 in the finale of our Monday Night Mayhem game, Once Upon a Rhyme, with Kevin Games running that and a bunch of great folks in that game. And then Tuesday, back to Greyhawk. And then we'll be back here on next Wednesday to play more of this, Nuovarden. So lots going on, and we hope that you'll check out some of our other games as well as this one. I'm going to toss it over to Ty. Ty, fill us in on what the heck we're doing and kick us off.
There we go. For anybody new to what we're doing here, we are playing Nuovarden, which is a game system and setting designed by me and a bunch of other folks that have thrown in on it. And my right hand, my daughter, Erin Dippity, has been also instrumental in everything that we're doing over at Adventure Slang Productions. Nuovarden is a non-medieval fantasy world that changes everything up. It's hopefully, I believe, nothing like you've ever seen before. And so you're here for that. In just a moment, we'll have our players introduce themselves and their characters, but just a couple of things. The game is currently in production, and we are looking forward to crowdfunding it in the second quarter next year. But you can get the beta rules right now and play through it and let us know what you think at the adventureslang.com website. There is a form fillable character sheet as well. And the website also has a bunch of other stuff about us, like our podcast and our schedule and VODs from prior live streams. And what else do we have over there? We have an opportunity for you to sign up for updates. And if you do, you can get some assets for the game that will go with your VTT when you are playing it with your friends. So please do that. Check us out and follow along there. Oh, let's see. Before we do the recap, maybe we should we do it recap after we let everybody introduce themselves? Let's do that. Lamar, maybe would you like to tell us about yourself and a little bit who you're playing?
Sure. Top of the morning to you, lads is both and neither. My name is Lamar the Con Guy. That's Lamar the Con Guy. You can find me on all social medias as Lamar the Con Guy. And today I'm playing an Exie named Tosh, an adorable blue, loving creature trying to find meaning in nothingness.
Awesome. Ashley.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley, Minnesota Muse 99 on Twitter. And let's see, you can find me on this channel on Tuesdays for Heroes of Greyhawk. And I am playing a Lenai named Ode, like Geode. And they are a pint-sized, loudmouth magic using kind of a creature.
Elemental power. Awesome. Dave, we may know who you are, but who are you playing?
Hey everybody, my name's Dave, Dungeon Dave. I play games, produce games, and run games here on Guild Superior. Come and connect with me over on Twitter or jump in our Discord. A lot of the folks that end up playing on our channel are folks that we meet in Discord, get to know, and invite to play with us. So a lot of opportunity over there. We actually have some open casting for a couple of games. I am playing First Foundation, and they are one of the original builders of the tower. The tower that is the central focus and purpose of the Wotan culture. And this particular Wotan, this one, has left the tower after having strangely been scheduled for a decommissioning, only to find it pulled from the disassembly line and set out on an adventure to explore with some unknown purpose. And actually, this one is having a tough time not knowing what their purpose is, but feels as though they're at least on a path.
Great. Yep. And we are without Utahime this week and next. Utahime is playing Ela Nalnik, the great-great-great-granddaughter of Kai Cal Nalnik, who was a renowned huntress of the Lamplac people. And so Ela will be busy, and we will learn a little bit about that in just a moment. And Utahime will be back with us in a few weeks. But if you're in the Las Vegas area, do see if you can swing by the Las Vegas, Cosplay Expo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can meet her there and tell her we sent you. Okay. When we began this adventure, we started off with our 4 characters. The 3 you were introduced to tonight, and Ela, the huntress from the Lamplac people, at a range camp where they had gathered, as explorers do, to team up for various purposes. Now, these purposes overlap between the individual who has things they want to accomplish and the collective who needs to work together to achieve things along the way. Most importantly, survival, because in Nuovarden, many things are unknown in the time since the emergence, when the great paradigm shifted and new cultures arose and new creatures as well. History was lost and new history is being formed. So this is a big reason why folks explore in this world. Before we get into the recap real quick, I want to remind everybody to put in, Dave, for the giveaway, right?
Yes, absolutely. We do have a giveaway. And in order to win a copy of the core rule book, the rule set, when it is available to be sent out, type !drawing in the chat and you will be entered to win.
Yes, that's a PDF. And if you also sign up now to follow us on our website, you automatically are eligible for those assets in addition. So win the game, have the assets, put it all together, and you'll be doing what we're doing in not all that long from now. So when this group came together at the range camp, they were learning a little bit about each other. They didn't know a whole lot about each other. And over the course of travel to a larger township called Aksha-Loakaln, which is a pretty cosmopolitan city or town that is located on a river. The city has 2 hubs that branch across the river. So the south hub, a long bridge of about 3 miles to the other side, to the other hub. Along the way, as the characters were getting to know each other, they came across a group in the distance that appeared to be excavating some prairie ruins. After a quick observation of what they were doing, they decided to leave them be. They were determined to be the same people as First Foundation. And the Wotan are those, again, that are collecting materials to work on the tower. And it appeared that this group of Wotan were collecting wood and stone and things like that they could then take back to the tower and attach it to continually and ever grow that massive structure somewhere in the north that only First Foundation is really all that familiar with. Proceeding on towards Akshalo, the group then came across a gore carcass, G-O-R. A gore is a massive bovine-type creature that has like camel humps and a big bladed horn that sticks out between its head, and they reach 9 to 12 feet tall. They're domesticated in some cases. In other cases, they just roam wild. They are hunted and raised for as beasts of burden and things like that. This particular carcass was about 10 feet high, lying on its side, dead. And as Ela approached it and coming around the corner, spooked and startled a large bird of prey called a corsicatant that then hopped up on the carcass and assessed the situation. The birds are very territorial. Combat was engaged. Another bird flew from a tree nearby and engaged them as well. And then after a short but furious battle, the two creatures were chased off. Mostly the party was left none the worse for wear. Ela had taken the worst of it, I believe. I don't know that any of the rest of you even suffered any injury, as I recall. The group then pushed on, eventually reaching Akshalo, and just upon entering the town, that's where we ended. And unbeknownst to you, the audience, the group then evolved to Evolution 2, and were able to get a few more resource points for their injury/primacy pools. And that's where we pick up for tonight. So as you're standing there in town, looking around at this highly populated, very busy cultural gathering area where you see any number of individuals from across the spectrum of people, Ela says, all right, now I've made it this far with you. It's time for me to go take care of something. And it's going to take me a little while. So don't worry about me. Just do what you want to do, and I will find you when I'm done. And pretty unceremoniously, she leaves you to your own devices as you look around at this very busy sort of open air. There's a lot of booths and wares being sold. There are also buildings and activity going on in the buildings. It doesn't seem, you're brand new here. So whatever is all going on here, it's new to you. However, in the process of standing around and just taking it all in, and as you watch Ela disappear among the crowd, the sound of a mild disturbance catches your attention. A procession of 6 riders astride large bird-like creatures trots down the center of the street, followed by a few on foot and a wooden cart drawn by a 9-foot-tall gore. This procession comes in. Now, these creatures that they're riding, these bird creatures, they're also around 9 or 10 feet tall and large enough, obviously, to be ridden. And they've got harnesses and saddles as these other people ride them. The wagon appears moderately laden with items covered by a loosely flapping hide that's affixed by rope at various anchor points. And the group bears a sigil on their hide armor and a small flag attached to the wagon of a half stone tile, half bronze gearwork crystal that appears to be wrapped by a thread of copper stylized like a thorny vine. Well, let's go ahead and get the roll started. Why doesn't anybody give me a called roll lore to see if you recognize this sigil?
Called roll lore.
And don't forget, called rolls are 2 dice.
Thank Jeebus. All right. That's 3 to 1.
3-3.
Okay, I got a 2 and a I can't even see it in the dark here. 1.
And the 3 of you have no idea what this sigil is or who these folks are.
It is beautiful, though.
Very impressive. I'll show you very quickly in Roll20 what the bird creature looks like, if you like.
Yes, please.
Let's take a look at that. Dun, dun, dun.
In Tasha's defense, they are wearing their blindfold, so that is
Okay, that's a good point.
A real bird.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
feathered,
These
but
birds.
yeah, go ahead.
What's that? Oh, I was just
Okay.
going to say these birds are territorial. They're known to be very efficient, very powerful hunters across particularly the grasslands and the open terrain.
Do they have wings?
They are flightless. They do have some feathering, but their hind legs are more mammalian. And then they have those sort of loping front legs with the large claws there, serrated beaks. And rather than fly, they're actually known as leapers. They're powerful leaping creatures, and they're quite fast, as you can imagine.
This is the most terrifying ostrich I've ever seen. I believe Tosh will feel the same, as since Hila has left them. You notice Tosh has been rather nervous, like looking around, and upon seeing this large beast of a creature, they go over and just like put their hand upon First Foundation and just kind of hold on. It's safe.
Yes. Yes, friend, safe. Would you like a better view? I crafted this spot for you to sit. And you see up on the shoulders like this little platform.
Tosh lifts up and looks up at it. It's like, huh? It will climb up top of First Foundation and sit down and like look around and see like tall.
Yes, good view from here. And you watch as First Foundation's head does a complete slow 360, just kind of taking in the full crowd. And I'm curious, how is this procession being received by the locals?
It's pretty clear that people are obviously getting out of the way, making room for these large beasts as they come through. And they glance, some of them stand and watch like you're doing, and some of them glance over and then go back to what they're doing. It seems that it's not all that uncommon for this sort of thing to happen. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you think these
I'll-
guys are a real big deal?
Very fancy.
they are large.
Everything is large.
I will tell you that you do recognize a lot of them are lamplac. A number of them are cacoots. And then there's just a smattering of other cultural folks in there, but they do seem to be primarily lamplac and cacoots. So for those who don't know the difference, lamplac are the more human-like warrior types, and the cacoots are the bestial, semi-feline wolf or fox, or not any particular species of animal, but bestial. They're very fur laden. They have small rounded ears and are particularly efficient in stealthy, silent situations.
Cute. And this thing that they're carrying with them, we have no idea what that is. So, Tosh is just going to continue looking around. And this plaza we're in, I'm assuming it is as bright and as vibrant as the reference picture.
Yes.
Right. There's not a lot of darkness or holes around here.
Some shadow cast by the structures, but it is midday. It's so the sky is very brightly lit.
And just a general check. Are there any of my people here?
Yes, there definitely are. Are you doing a count, or are you just sort of taking a?
I just want to know if there's more than two.
I mean, the crowds are pretty heavy, but at a quick glance, you notice a few of them. There are three of them, and they're together, and they are their eyes are not covered, so you know that they are standard primary culture whatever they're doing there, they're probably getting supplies.
With that said, Tosh is going to make sure their
Cover.
face covering, their blindfold is definitely placed correctly. It will actually slowly climb down First Foundation and just seem to like stand right behind them, putting First Foundation and Tosh in between where he sees the group of Exa.
Okay.
Is something wrong, Tosh?
My people are judgmental. I'm not prepared to talk to them quite yet.
Well, then then we won't.
Good.
as you're having this conversation and just noticing First Foundation that Tasha appears to be uncomfortable, the procession continues on by. As the wagon gets parallel, though, and it's as it's moving through and it's bringing up the tail end. So you have this. There are half a dozen of those bird riders. So there's 6 of those, and they go loping through. And then you have a few people on foot, and then you have the wagon, and then a few people trailing. Ode, you notice something. As the wagon passes by, you feel suddenly lightheaded, swooning as you sense a pull from something in the wagon that resonates in the core of your chest. As the wagon proceeds and gradually moves further away, the feeling diminishes until it's gone. And then several blocks away, the procession comes to a halt outside a low palisade just beyond the last row of shops on that road.
We should follow them.
Very well.
I have a feeling. A weird feeling. We should see what they're up to.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, Ode, but I think you should follow your instinct.
Thanks, buddy. Just like taps you on the leg. Very short.
As you're having that conversation with First Foundation and Tosh, as you are trying not to be seen, and as you stand also watching that procession go by, you spy a young male Kakoots that appears to be stealing something from the satchel of a distracted Selku. Now, the Selku are they're very tall and thin. They have 4 eyes. They have 2 sets that they tend to look with in the present and 2 sets they use to look into the past. And they're very scholarly. This Selku is busy in conversation with a few other figures. And Tosh, you seem to be the only one who notices that this theft is occurring.
Tosh will give me 1 second. I'm going to make a personal will check. Tosh is actually going to pull away from the group to directly engage with this person.
Okay.
And hey.
You catch them just as they've like turned away, and they've moved away from their mark and turned right into you.
Stop. That was not nice.
This kid is like, they've got a gray fur, and they're probably about 60 pounds and pretty lithe. And they look like they're going to try and dodge, but they don't know which way to go. And they're like, what?
I saw you. Please return what you've taken.
I mean, it's mine.
In the current stance, it is in your possession, but it was not given to you, so it is stolen property.
Well, I don't know where they went anyway. Just pay attention to your own. Mind your own business.
I I must ask you to return it or turn yourself into the authorities, please.
Let's see. Why don't you give me a call to roll mind and see if you can influence them.
So even if I don't have the discipline as a called roll, so I still roll 2, thank goodness. And it's too early to be using prime. I have 9 primacy.
You can't use. Wait, you don't have mind.
I don't have mind. I'm mystery.
You're mystery man, and a vigilante apparently.
I see wrong, and I must, I see wrong, and things must happen. And by the way, Tosh hasn't hidden what they're doing. They just went left. It seems as if Tosh is constantly just moving left or right.
So let me check in with you on that. The other two of you are having a conversation, and do you want to move down the street? You want to follow that procession? All this is kind of happening at the same time. Do the two of you just kind of start meandering that way, or are you paying a lot of attention to where Tosh is?
Well, and Ode, I was thinking perhaps later we could try some of the local cuisine. Where's Tosh going?
Oh, wait. Hey, little friend.
And Tosh is just over there talking to this Kakut's kid, and the kids, and they're like, maybe they know each other. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're friends. I don't know.
Perhaps. First Foundation is going to scan and just kind of keep an eye, not approach, but just watch the interaction and the surroundings to make sure that nothing strange happens to his friend.
Okay. Tosh, what did you get for that roll?
3 to 1.
Okay. So the kid's like, now, I have to go. And looks like they're gonna move to go around you.
Tosh will cause a let's see what I want to do. Tosh kind of wants to cause a void, like a big circle to appear around them to kind of cut them off. He wants to manifest like this big void bubble around them to cut them off in order to, one, stop and maybe slightly intimidate them. Not trying to hurt them, just trying to prevent things from happening.
I should have predicted that one, Ode.
Okay, so you want to create kind of a like a pocket dimension around you and the.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're gonna do 1 or 2. That's out of turn order. Now we're gonna go into turn order, but we'll give you the first action. We'll put it between the two of you. So 1 or 2 dice on that check.
I'm gonna use 2 dice because this is a defining moment for Tosh.
Oh no!
I rolled double 4s.
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
Now, in this instance, because you're actually creating a space consumer, you can go 8 to 12 feet maximum because of that roll, but you don't have to go that large. It's up to you. You can go up to whatever range you want.
I'm just literally trying to bring it so it's just Tosh and this thief as far as Tosh is concerned. So maybe 3 or 4 feet bubble around them. Not trying to incorporate the rest of the world, but they don't know what's happening. That's all. They know thieving is wrong.
Given the physics of it all, it's about an 8-foot what do you call it, sphere. And it looks all of a sudden, now the other two of you, Ode and First Foundation, you are looking at suddenly this black sphere that just engulfs Tosh and the kid. Inside is something more like your background there, Tosh. The void is just calmly empty of all everything that you were in. And the kid is like looking around. And since you use both your dice, so they're looking around and they're like, they just hand the document, it's a roll of fabric, which is what a lot of records are kept on and stuff. Kid just hands it to you, just like sticks it out to you.
Tosh will take it and say, "Thank you. Please do better." And will immediately drop the bubble and then turn around to find his friends again.
So
Hey, buddy, what's going on? What's that about?
A young child stole this. I'll hold them out.
That looks important.
And now you have it.
Well, yes. We can either take it to the proper authorities or try to find the original owner, which I do not see. But thieving is wrong, I have decided.
You'll notice that a number of people around you are looking and paying attention now to you all, the three of you.
We have drawn attention to ourselves, Tosh. Perhaps a bit earlier than anticipated.
Tosh kind of looks around like under their blindfold and then immediately goes to walk to I forgot your name.
Ode or First Foundation?
First Foundation. Walks to First Foundation and stands behind them like they're a shield. Like,
meanwhile, there is a voice that says, "That's mine," and you see that Selku teacher approaching. "I believe that's mine, and I don't know why you would have it."
Yes, we have recovered your item from one who thieved it from you. We intend to return it to you. And he'll sort of like gesture to Tosh, like,
You're welcome.
to return it to you.
This wizened sort of. Now, the Selku are considered oracular. They're sort of oracles within to all. So they're pretty well revered a lot of times. This one, their fingers are very long. They're very long and twiggy, like black twigs from small birch trees. And their skin also looks very much like that. They're very gaunt, and they have those eyeballs, all those eyes looking at you. The long fingers pluck it away from you, and they give you a look. And then they put it back in their satchel. And then they pull their satchel around to the front. And then they turn around and they look back at you again.
Before you leave, we were just commenting on finding some good local cuisine. Wondering perhaps if you might recommend a place for food.
What sort of ruse is this?
Ruse. I do not know this.
Hmm.
We are hungry, and we are new to your beautiful city.
Hmm. Well, I'm sure you'll find plenty of things that you can enjoy. Go over there, and they point. There's a pie stall. And they just sort of dismissively point in that direction, that long, twiggy finger.
Oh my!
Go over there and eat that, and then they unceremoniously turn completely around and then they glance one more time back over at you and give you that look, and then they scuttle off.
I suspect that person has never eaten there.
Yes.
Did I do a wrong thing?
No, Tosh. You did a good thing. That individual was rude.
I think he thought that we lied to him.
It is possible, but we did not. And perhaps sometimes it is best to give people, creatures, and others the benefit of the doubt.
That's true. Like, that could have been like a friend-building moment, and instead, like, he was just really rude to us.
Indeed. It is possible that Selku was having a bad day.
Hmm.
Are you okay, Tosh?
I continue to develop more questions every time I create an answer. But it will be fine.
You know, sometimes the answer doesn't matter. It could be anything, and it really doesn't affect stuff.
There are those in my life who do not believe in that. So I'm hoping to find an answer in where there might not be one.
That sounds
Well, what do I know? I'm just an
challenging.
enlightened rock.
No, Ode, you are much more than that. Much
You
more.
are enlightened rock.
Should we
Aw,
try the
thank you,
pies?
guys. Why not?
Yes.
Maybe he was right and he just didn't even know it.
You can't help but notice the aroma coming from the booth is rather enticing, and there's a variety of scents that are coming from it as well. So it seems that there are also a variety of options at the booth.
I do have some items of value that I am not in need of. We could trade perhaps for some pies. Would you like
Sounds
that?
like a great idea.
Tosh, would a pie cheer you up?
Yes.
Well then, pies it is. And
Yeah, how
First
can you be
Foundation
sad when you're eating
go
a
over there.
pie?
Okay, so you move over towards the booth, and you see they're working the booth, and they have their set up there with the wood cooking area, and the smell is wafting through the air. And there are pies, individual serving sizes and larger sizes, set out on display, and they all look wonderfully well made. It appears that there is a younger Asgal boy and an older Asgal woman. The Asgal are very lithe figures. They have a fine white down on their body. They're otherwise hairless, and they color that down in various colorful patterns. And they are known for their aesthetic quality. They're artisans. They are performers. They're musicians. They are everything that has to do with the beauty aesthetic. And so you can probably guess that their food is going to be pretty tasty. They are strictly vegetarian. So they don't offer and they don't consume meat products. So apparently they will likely have vegetarian and fruit types of pies to offer you. But as you step up, this kid looks like they're probably preteen. And they wear they've got a blue and lavender and green pattern on their shoulder that kind of loops over the shoulder from the right pec, and then sort of spirals down the arm in multiple colors, and some face affectations. Their brow is pierced, and then the woman, who is perhaps even a grandmother, is adorned with blue robes, blue fabrics, and that they drape down sort of like a loincloth that goes from the hips all the way to the ground, and then also sort of a halter top that goes over one shoulder, and she's wearing a lot of copper jewelry set with some very fine, very small gems. And you step up, and she's just pulling a fresh pie from the wood stove there. And the kid's like, "Did you want one of these on one of our pies?" And she says, "Or maybe several."
Indeed, we have been told by that individual, and I don't know if the Selku is still around, but he's going to try to gesture towards the Selku or into the crowd.
Sure.
Told us that your pies were delicious.
The grandmother glances in that direction, but is just sort of accepting whatever reference you're making and doesn't really seem to make any connection to anyone over there, but says, of course, we're well known. Yeah, we have a variety of options, or we can serve you by the slice, or we can give you individual servings.
I believe we would each like a slice. Is that right? Ode and Tosh?
I mean, I could eat one. But what do they cost?
Half value for the slice.
We do have quite a bit of the grass. Would you be interested in some freshly cut grass?
Get yourself, Ty.
Nice.
No, I want you to remember that.
How good quality is it? I don't know.
It's quite good.
Please
And
make
I'll
a lore,
I'll show it to her.
called roll lore for me.
Called roll lore.
'Cause we have freshly cut crab
Oh!
grass.
A 4 and a 1.
Hey!
Nice.
It's good. It's good stuff. It's real good.
Yes. Happily, yes. We can always use more ingredients for more pies.
Indeed.
So how much value are you offering her?
She said half value per piece.
Yeah, so 1.5 for each for the total.
I'll give her 2 value.
Okay. Wonderful. Would you like a 4th piece for later?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so she gets busy prepping that up. So you're standing around. The boy serves you the fresh, and she's preparing the one slice. And that's when Tosh, you hear someone else speaking to you, but only in your mind. And this voice says, "Say, I saw you there, sizing up that lad. Got a keen eye on you. Mind if I ask you a few questions? My name's Barrow, and your name is..." And you feel a tug at the edges of your mind as the voice asks before it responds. Would you please roll a single D4? This is a challenge roll for me. It's a challenge roll mind.
Come on, Tosh, you're such a good pro. It's another 4.
Okay.
You're
So
on
that
fire tonight.
the voice stops there and waits for an answer. And you can tell that this voice, whatever speaking to you, was trying to just pull your name from your mind, because as it asked you, you thought of your name, but you were able to block it from pulling that thought.
Right. First thing, is this a unique feeling? Has this happened to Tosh before? Is this a common communication tactic in this world?
The telepathic communication's not all that uncommon. It's something that, for one thing, that the Starnum do naturally. Have no problem doing that. However, you're still sort of learning your way around in the world and haven't had all that many experiences. I would say this is probably a new experience for you.
Immediately just going to start looking around to see if they notice anybody. And
Okay.
we'll think,
Give me a call roll body.
there we go. Oh, God dang it.
Come on.
Called rolls a 2 all the time, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's a 2 and a 4. Let's go.
Okay. So you are looking at this throng of people, and in about 8 seconds of glancing around, you have 3 suspects. It could be that catcher mouse that is standing on top a grain barrel about 60 feet away. However, it dodges back into the shadow and you lose track of it. It could be the kid at the booth messing with you.
Mhm.
Although they didn't sound like that. Or it could be the Kakoots figure standing just within the shade of one of the buildings, who appears to be looking back at you from about 15 feet away.
Tosh will then think, I am Tosh.
And do you let that, you sort of release that?
Yep.
Okay,
They don't know any different.
sure.
Did he say that out loud?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? what? Yes. Yes, Tosh would say that out loud. Because this is a new experience. Like, I am Tosh.
Yes, you are.
That's the spirit, buddy.
You've always been Tosh, as far as I recall.
Hey, you guys. Whatever happened to that wagon? I got a little distracted.
By the pies.
About that time, the grandmother hands the other slice to you that's wrapped in leaves.
Okay.
As you turn to take that, Tosh, the Kakut steps forward to you and says, Tosh, and yeah, this is, so let me give you a little bit more description. He says, Tosh, nice to meet you, Tosh. As the figure emerges from the crowd, he sidles up next to you. Barrow is a 5-foot-tall, black and gray jay-like humanoid with pointed head feathers pulled back ponytail style and a large, slightly curved beak. He wears an olive canvas robe and gray hide tunic with a leather belt running from his left shoulder to his hip and another around his waist. He carries a dagger in the belt. And let me show you quickly in Roll20 for your edification at the table.
Very cool.
Bird. Very good. That's awesome. That's awesome.
He says, he says now out vocally, not in your head. I think you might be able to do me a favor, he says. Your keen eye and all, if you'll keep an ear open for any scuttle. I saw what you did there with the kid. Keep your eye open for any scuttle of well-being of this town. I'll give you 5 credit per week at your choice of eatery or store within Akshalo. Just any updates you can manage during the course of your activities in the area?
5?
A week.
The pies are half. That's a lot of pies. Sure.
He nods. He says, right, leave a message anytime at the pie vendor here. And he nods to Stall. Tell him you have a new recipe for me, Barrow, and I'll find you within a day. Meanwhile, he says, give this to your vendor of choice. And he slips a patch into your hand and then fades back into the crowd. And the other two of you, like, you see this figure just step up, start talking to Tosh. They start having a conversation. First Foundation, you grab that slice of pie. Ode, you're like looking maybe back and forth between the two. And this figure just sort of briefly addresses Tosh, seems to slip something into their hand, and then sort of pulls back away.
Tosh, I am proud of you. You've found purpose, and we've just arrived. Impressive.
Wait, Ty, have you been here before? Tosh, everybody seems to know you.
No. I guess my people are well known. We're not well hidden. I am different, but this new friend of ours spoke to me in a sense and then offered me credits.
I could use friends like that.
And what
Yes,
are
5.
what are we to exchange for those credits? What are we committed to doing for your friend?
Well, if we hear anything of interest, of note around the city, we're to inform this lovely merchant that we have a recipe for our friend Barrow, and then inform them of the news we have received. And we will, in exchange, will receive 5 credits to any vendor in the city, which is a lot of pies.
Indeed.
And you've got that thing in your hand now.
What thing did I get?
It is a patch.
Coupon?
Here's what. Yes, it's a patch. The patch is stylized like an angular bestial mask, kind of triangular,
Uh-huh.
divided half and half into white and black, with eye slits of the opposing coloration, and below which is set a green silhouette of a sweehan inverted as though dead. And this appears to be another sigil.
Oh, this is gonna get me killed.
Wait, did you just join a club?
I think it's called a gang.
Oh man, Tosh, you're so tough now.
You are hardened, and we've only just arrived.
Tosh will then like kind of go back to the table, grab their pie, and like sit right up next to Ode and start eating their pie really nervously, and puts the patch into their satchel really quick. But like this has been a lot of social interaction for Tosh in one day. This has been, and you can see like they're like super nervous. It is also hard to eat pie while blind.
First
You can see fine.
First Foundation is going to turn to the vendor, the grandmother, the woman making the pies, and compliment them on the pie making and how it tastes. I imagine it's delicious.
It is indeed. Yeah, very, very good. Very succulent, and it has dimension and layers to it.
And then I'll sort of cut through that small talk and just bluntly ask her, this Barrow individual, what have we gotten ourselves into here?
She just keeps smiling, and she says, "Who?"
That dude that just left, is he a good person, or is he like not a good person?
She looks around. Who?
Does she have the patch on her clothing by any chance?
Well, that's a good question. You scan all around. You do not see it anywhere on her in the booth or on her person.
There's nothing blatantly obvious to see it.
Yeah.
You've joined.
I understand, and I just nod. The pie is very good, thank you. And then I'll turn back to Ode. We may have gotten ourselves into something quite interesting. I'm actually excited.
Did we join a secret gang?
I believe we have.
Oh man, not this again.
We better not tell anyone about that patch, Tosh, or your friend, for the time being. When Ela returns, we should tell her. But for now, perhaps not announcing our alliance would be prudent.
Is she gonna want to hang out with gang members? Like, I mean...
Well, it depends on their motivations, which I imagine we will come to learn rather quickly.
I just have a feeling she's gonna give us that really disappointed look. I don't like it.
We can tell her we got a job, which is technically what we did. We
Indeed.
say information and get paid for it. Bards do it all the time. Messengers.
Great way to look at it.
Letters.
We're just kind
Songs.
of like a courier service for imaginary letters.
Yes.
Okay. Are you done with that pie?
I'm going to turn back to the vendor. And I'm going to do almost the exact same this pie is delicious thing that I did before, like verbatim. And then, and then I'm going to say, where would be an interesting part of the city to experience, perhaps gather information and get a lay of the land?
Well, if you're looking to get a lay of the land, I suppose you could stop in any of the indoor establishments and just listen. Perhaps at the small cost of something to eat or drink. Unless you're staying, you could stay there as well, I suppose. Or you could wander around the streets and keep your ears open, if I understand what you're asking me.
Lady of the Pie, quick question. Do you know what that grouping of guards were doing and what they were guarding?
Oh, yes. The Goodwill Reclaimers. That's the Goodwill Reclaimers. The Goodwill Reclaimers are a faction. And there was, you may remember that Ela had made a passing reference to her cousin being involved with them.
Cool. Well,
anyway, she says, it looks to me, and she glances down the street, it looks to me as if they've stopped over at the governor's residence, probably delivering something that they found out and about, which they're prone to do. They, well, I don't know if I were to speculate, perhaps something valuable.
Oh, did you ever mention out loud that you felt something weird when they walked by, or did you just...
Yeah, I said I had a feeling like that we needed to go over there, and a bunch of stuff happened between that.
I mean, the feeling was profound for you, not to anybody else, because they didn't sense it.
Right. I just said I had a feeling we need to follow them.
We were headed in that direction anyways, weren't we, Ode? That seems like valuable information to know, does it not?
5 credits. Yes.
The grandmother says, if you do find out anything, let me know.
That we have a new recipe, perhaps.
Yes. And if you'd like to establish those credits here, if you enjoy those pies, I can take that item from you, Tosh.
Are you saying that you could sweeten the deal?
Up to 5 credits worth.
I don't know. I think you should hold on to that, Tosh. It's all very new right now.
Thank you very much. We are new in the city, so all credits are necessary for us to hold. But if we are indeed in need of 10 pies, we most certainly will come back.
Fair enough. And if you come up with a new recipe, do please stop by.
Absolutely. And you see, like, Tosh seems to, like, be a little bit jumpy. They have a purpose. This is amazing.
All right, let's check out that wagon and see what they got.
Go to I think you said the governor's mansion?
Yeah.
Yep.
What could possibly
this
go
is gonna
wrong
be
there?
easy. Quick, Tosh will ask the grandmother real quick. By the way, is the governor's mansion a public location, like a museum or city hall, where you can just walk in and say, "Hey"?
You are new. No. In fact, you have to be invited.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But we can loiter.
Oh no. Oh, I know. I see the strands. Okay. Damn it. All right. What, to the mansion?
Okay.
To the mansion.
So you all casually move your way towards the mansion. As you're approaching, and you can see down the street, it's pretty clear what's going on. And there's those bird creatures are out there. They're tethered. The wagon is parked. It looks like some larger gate opens open there in the palisade, not a huge gate, but and that there are actual guards as well as the Goodwill reclaimers standing around, and the reclaimers are well armed. They have any number of weapons. They're armored, mostly hide, but there's some stone and metal embellishments on some of them, and they're just they're keeping an eye as they unload the wagon. And it looks like they're taking out a number of things. There appear to be like something made of wood that looks like it's got a stone thing attached to it that's maybe about 2 feet by 2 feet, and it looks really old, but you can't quite make out what the thing is that's attached to it, but it looks like some sort of artifact, probably historical. That gets moved in. They carry out a few pole weapons or some smaller trinkets that are not obvious. Some things are wrapped. And as you get maybe 30 feet away or so, Ode, you can just barely sense that thing again. And it's like, it's so familiar. It's whatever is there, you have seen it, you have held it before. It's like it belongs to you.
Oh, I'm gonna try to like creep as close, like to try to hone in on that thing as I can. So how far can I get before somebody is like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it's pretty open, right? And so you're almost like unaware that you're moving toward that. You're halfway in the street, and First Foundation, Tosh, you notice that it looks like one of the reclaimers, a male lamplack, like 6.5 feet tall, black hair, rippling musculature. He glances over at Ode, who's just absolutely like passing through space, and shakes his head and then moves toward you, Ode, and stands in front of you and says, I'm sorry. This is Governor's business.
I'm looking for something that like that's mine.
Well, it's not here.
Well, I think it is here. It
Okay.
feels like it's here.
Well, I don't know what you mean, but I doubt it.
Kind of like scan. Is it going further away? Is it like just off to the side? Where's that sensation coming?
As you're having this conversation with this reclaimer warrior, something is removed that's covered with a cloth from the wagon, and you like, it's like there's a beam connected to you, and then it's being carried like on a tray between two people, and it passes, and there's a slight rounded shape to the cloth, and then it passes in through the palisade, and then that feeling it draws out sort of like taffy, and then pulls apart, and it's gone.
That, and I point and I say, that belongs to me.
He looks back over his shoulder, and by that time they've passed in through the gate, and he turns back to you and says, I'm not sure what you mean, but no.
Well, I don't know. Do you have like a judge or other person I can speak to about stolen property?
I'm sure you can put a petition into the governor.
All right, I want to talk to the governor.
Okay. Just a minute.
3 foot tall.
I demand an audience.
I demand an audience with the governor.
Hello, governor.
The reclaimer turns around and just sort of saunters back toward the wagon and motions at one of the guards, who is a Kakoots. And the Kakoots has just they're in a regular leather cuirass, just very plain, and they have a cream colored cloak of the guard, and they carry they've got like a bronze sword in their belt, and they carry a spear, a stone-headed spear, and the figure moves toward you, or actually moves towards the reclaimer, and they whisper something to each other you can't quite hear, and then the Kakoots moves about another half distance toward you and says, "What do you want?"
Well, I want my property returned.
"We don't have your property."
I'm pretty sure you do, because I felt it go in there.
Takes one of those cloth rolls out from the belt.
Any kind of like precedence for a reincarnated person like having claim over something from a previous incarnation in this world?
I want you to give me a called roll lore, and I will give you as much information as I can based on that roll, from a yes to a, let's see what you remember. You're thinking.
Ooh.
For those of you playing the home game, there's a very deep amount of law to that very deep question in this system.
I got 1-4.
1-4. Okay, what you know, first of all, is that you have heard of the Reclaimers, and the Reclaimers are actually dedicated to returning property to its original people.
Oh.
However, how it works within an individual establishment or settlement legally for you is not 100% clear, because you've not come across this question before, and you don't remember ever having this situation occur. And as you're contemplating that, the guard unfurls this thin cloth and takes out, looks like some like charcoal, and like puts their, like tries to find a way to get a surface to write on, and they're like, and they just like lay it over their hand, and they're like, "What's your name?"
Ode.
O-A-D?
Honestly, I can't spell
Okay.
or write.
O-A-D. And where can we leave word for you when your petition will be heard?
I guess at this pie shop. It seems to be quite the hub.
The pie
Oh my god.
seller. All right, Ode. I got it down here.
This is going really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch. So check with the pie seller. Give it several days, and we'll see what the governor says. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. What are you missing?
I'll
What?
be watching.
Oh, hold on now. What is it? What is it you think we have?
It's a part that is very dear to me, and I can feel it in my chest.
A part of your chest?
Maybe we'll go with that. It's part of me.
Okay, Ode will send a message to the pie seller about a part of your chest that we have.
Sounds great.
Ashley
Okay.
Y at Marie Callender's looking for a rib cage. Gotcha.
The guard starts rolling up the fabric and tucking away the charcoal and tucking away the fabric, and is just looking at you like, is that it? And then returns back to their post and shaking their head. And the reclaimer just like kind of chuckles and shrugs.
I'm totally getting that thing back.
That went well.
Yeah, right? Like, who knew they had such a wonderful, like, governor system of returning lost objects,
You see, the law can work in your favor from time to time.
right? Pleasant turn of events.
So meanwhile, there you go. You have filed your petition, and the three of you are gathered there outside, probably wondering where Elo went to, because by golly. And yeah, there you go. I mean, a little bit more, like, okay, there's these reclaimers and they're like delivering stuff to the governor, but that's really all you know so far. But First Foundation, there's a lingering kind of thought with you as well, right? That there must be like something regarding also what you're looking for. You're kind of thinking, we have a lot to learn here, especially if we're on our own, because Ela's not here to fill in the gaps. But what would you all like to do?
We got like 2 days to burn until they give me back my stuff.
I also noticed in your interaction with the guard that we do not have a place to stay. We might want to establish that.
Yes, the woman at the pie shop said we could stay at one of these indoor establishments.
Yes.
Yeah, indoors is probably a good idea.
It would be nice.
Man, I wish Elo were here. She's the only one with common sense. All right.
So
Yeah,
it's not completely unknown. It's not completely unknown to you that there are kind of hostels that people stay at in these places. So they're general gathering areas for rest, and they have areas that you can lay down your sleeping mat, things like that. They're not all that expensive. You don't find anything much more elegant than that, but a place like Axelo would probably have more comfortable bedding in private rooms if that's what you were looking for. Or, you could rough it outside of the city if you wanted to, or you have options.
The hostel sounds nice, and perhaps an opportunity to learn from some of the other residents. I would personally like to see some of the sights of this fair city, and perhaps even find some opportunity to contribute. Shall we stroll, see what we can find?
Okay. Besides, we have to get some information to share with the pie lady.
Recipes.
I'm not good at cooking.
No. I'm still laughing at. Bring it to the Denny's. Tosh just nods. We shall explore more of the city.
So so where you're at right now, the governor's residence looks like it's at the edge of this particular street, and beyond that looks like there aren't more shops and things. Perhaps it's more residential, or it's private land, whatever. So you move back toward where you arrived at, and the city or the town sprawls kind of out from there. You also get the sense that based on where you came in from, that there's a bridge that crosses the river. So at some point that's going to be northward. And you begin looking around, and you start to take note that there are vendors selling all manner of tools, items, weapons. There are closed door establishments that appear to also offer whatever sort of services they offer. In addition to government buildings, such as they are, Also, as you move about, you periodically see Tosh. I don't think you've shared that badge with anybody. Is that right? You've not shown that to anyone else.
Correct. I'm not sure. Only to the team.
Okay. Well, you have shown it to the team.
Yes.
Okay. Then the three of you, as you're moving about, you see graffitied here and there on the walls the same sigil as the patch that Tosh is carrying.
Interesting. I might flag down a passerby and ask them, "Greetings. We are visiting your city. What does this artwork represent?" And he'll gesture towards the graffiti.
Okay. The figure that you flag down glances over at what you're talking about and then looks back at you. And this is an Asgar individual. The Asgar are the subculture of the Asgal, but they have the black tattoos and kind of the goth aesthetic to them. And this one's got leather bracers on and a leather chest piece. So, they look like, man, they're a little bit of business. And he scoffs and he says, "Yeah, I know what that is." Who's asking?
My name is First Foundation. And yours?
Not important. That sigil is well, it's somebody's idea of a joke. There's a rumor that there's a group called the Poisoned Sweehan, some shadowy nonsense or other. These rumors happen in large establishments like this. I'm sure you've got your own at home.
Of course, we have jokes.
Good story. What's the story of the poisoned Sweehan?
Oh, spies.
Spies.
Yeah.
Spies for who?
I suppose whoever's paying.
Tosh is now a spy. I agree with this information.
Sounds exciting.
Oh, I can only imagine. Is there anything else I can help you with? First Foundation.
Could you recommend any sites to see while we're visiting? Places of note. Places where we could learn some things about your city.
What would you be interested in learning, First Foundation?
History.
Seem like a curious type.
Music. When it was built. Who built it?
Oh.
The types of construction that were developed to erect such fine.
Oh, sure. I don't know. I don't know the answers to those questions, but I'm sure. I'll tell you what. Why don't you go find the bridge? And you can wander around on the bridge and maybe ask people those questions over there.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you hear music, stop off and listen. How about that?
These are very good suggestions. Thank you.
I can tell you about the music. If you've got questions about music, I can tell you about music. What would you like to know?
Is there a local flavor of music?
Well, there's a troupe of Asgal, who, my people who perform regularly on the north side. Otherwise, it's in spots. It's sort of dispersed through. Actually, I've been known to do percussion. Yeah. I mean, this isn't my band outfit or anything, but but it could be.
Out of character, can I manifest a drum?
You can, yeah. Do you want to do it temporary or permanent?
Temporary manifestation of a drum.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead and try.
Right. Yep. I'm gonna use my both dice on this one. A 4 and a 2.
Nice. Yeah. You go like this. And ring this thing, and he's like, "That's pretty good. That's pretty good."
Would you
Yeah, I
like
like
to? Would you like to beat this drum?
He kind of looks around awkwardly and he's like, and he takes it from you and he's just like, and he's, immediately like flawless. And then it just evaporates. And he's like, that's pretty good.
You are quite a musician.
You're quite a drum maker. Yeah.
What is the name of this troupe that you recommend?
Oh, what was it? Twilight Glade Ringers or something like that. Twilight Glade Singers. Something silly.
We'll have to check it out. And your name?
Graph. All right. It's Graph.
Pleasure to meet you, Graph.
Likewise. First Foundation and blue person and gray person.
Greetings.
Hey, yeah. So anyway, yeah, don't, oh, sorry. Yeah. Blue person. You're waving.
I'm Tosh.
Nice to meet you, Tosh. I'm Graph.
This poor guy.
Are you part of our group now?
I don't think so. Nope. I got other things I got to do. So,
what do you do here, Graph?
Nothing.
Ty, we're going to make you have a full-fledged character by the end of this guy. I want to know about this guy's life. I want to know if he has a family. What was his hopes and dreams? I need everything about this person. Don't worry. We're coming back to Graph.
Well, don't you worry. Don't think I don't know. But he's not telling you.
Right. Graph, you have been a wealth of information. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're in for a surprise then. Don't worry about it. Is there anything else? Oh, what?
Do they have surprises at the bridge?
Oh, no, I just mean, if you think I've got a lot of information, I'm sure that there's more to be had.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Graph.
Okay.
And you're one hell of a musician.
Well, you're a great temporary drum maker.
Keep working on those surprises.
Boo. Okay. Bye. He skitters off.
My, the people here are nice.
Yes, and we have information to give to my new friend. There is a group called the Poison Sweehen, and they are spies. They are somewhere in this city. If we tell our bird friend, we can get our credits.
Yes. And don't forget the troupe, the musicians. Could be quite lucrative information.
Oh, yeah, and the governor has something of oats. But we're not sure what it is, but hopefully they return it in 2 days at the pie shop.
I don't know if we should tell them about my thing. Because if it turns out that, like, multiple people want it, then it'll be harder to get back.
But it's yours.
I know it's mine.
And it's part of your chest?
I feel it in my chest that it belongs to me, and I don't know if it's physically part of me or I just had it for so long that it felt like part of me.
Curious.
You will notice that
I'm not sure what it looks like.
Curious, sir.
I will add that you notice you're not too far away from the pie vendor, if that matters to you.
Yes, it matters.
Doesn't have to matter.
Do we want to submit a report of our new recipes, Tosh, or shall we visit the bridge first?
We just got this job, so we should make sure we have as much as possible before reporting. To the bridge, and then
To the bridge.
maybe
All right.
we can find someone to help us break into the governor's home.
Oh my.
Now we're talking.
Where is Ela again?
So Ayla said something about she was looking for a trainer, and by golly, she was going to learn how to use that bow so that by the time she finished making it, she could actually use it. So she seems like she's committed to some time away. And that means, well, I can see what that means already.
It's just not going to get wrapped up into this breaking in or we're about to do. But
I will say
plausible deniability for Ela.
yes.
You all continue on through the town, and you do make note of a hostel for lodging, and there does appear to be, the first one that you notice does also appear to be a kitchen attached. So that's convenient. Then it occurs to you that this is probably a pretty standard setup for those types of things, and there are probably a handful of those places to spend rest time, throughout the two hubs of the town. But it also comes to your awareness that you can hear faintly in the distance the sound of music, and you also feel a little bit of temperature change, indicating that perhaps you're getting closer to the water.
I think the water is that way. This feels watery.
Sort of following the roads, the streets, which are quite wide, you are able to meander your way. Another fork comes in from the main that you're on. Now, obviously, there are many side roads and alleys that come off of this as well, but you appear to be sticking to the main thoroughfare. And this other fork comes in from the other side and joins in, and it's it's dirt, it's rough, it's well trodden, and as you make your way into this sort of crossroads, it joins and leads clearly toward the rise, toward a bridge, a massive, low stone structure that clearly appears to approach a riverbank of some depth. However, you can't actually see the river from here. And there you see lots of traffic coming and going, and a lot of activity, and the sound of conversation. The birds are flying back and forth. You see sweehoo and you see robber pigeons and some sweehan occasionally. Sweehoo and a sweehan are two different but related kind of bird. They're both birds of paradise. And sweehans are particularly prized. Actually, sweehans and sweehoos are both prized for their feathers and their eggs. The sweehan is more of a peahen. So think like all white peacock, and they have very dark coloring in their feathers around their eyes. So their eyes look like they're bigger than they are. They have little feathers that end in little balls off of their crown, and then they have long, elegant tail feathers that they then fan out in a more showy way. The sweehoo is generally in flight. They stay up in the trees, and they're very vibrantly colored. And they pass back and forth. And you also have the robber pigeons, which are very annoying. Robber pigeons are a nuisance. They're everywhere. They're called robber pigeons because sometimes an unfortunate victim of a robber pigeon will be standing around, and the pigeons come at them from different angles, and one will flap around in their face, distracting them, while the other one tries to pluck things from their belt, hence called robber pigeons. They seem to be a little less aggressive here, perhaps because there's a lot for them to find, but in the wild, they can be tremendously annoying, if not outright thieving of important things that you need when you're out and about on your own. There are also rodents that duck in and out from behind crates and barrels and behind walls and into the ground of various kinds, catcher mice and the name's escaping me, chittering rodents, which sound sweet and innocent, but they can be problematic in their own terms. So
The bridge
Well, that
itself is immense, right? It's a
What
huge
is?
bridge. The bridge itself.
It's substantial. It's quite wide. It's not really tall like the ramparts and whatever. The edges are not tall, but they're stout. And it's newer. Like you can tell, First Foundation, that this construction is within the last 100 years. And I believe that you picked up somewhere along the line that there was an older bridge, a wooden bridge there before that it was then reinforced with this stonework. So the bridge actually predates the town. That much you do know about Oxalo. Then this is some stuff that Ela had also imparted. Ela had given you a little bit of the background that the town was formed by her family, the Naunics, and another family called the Alonk, when they had joined after the emergence and decided to establish Oxalo and leave their former villages to your people, the Wotan, because it was an uncomfortable living arrangement with the sudden appearance of, and you remember that day, the appearance of the Wotan suddenly in the workshops of these villages.
It was awkward.
In fact, you probably vaguely you remember something about this more modern establishment and when they were working on the bridge. And in fact, maybe even known some of the Wotan that worked on the bridge.
Indeed. But this would be the first time that I've seen it. Yes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This construction is fascinating to me. Do you mind if we linger a bit?
Yeah, sure. We've got all day.
All right. Well, with that, as you approach the bridge, there's also a troop that looks like they're just warming up. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
All right.
Can't wait to be robbed by birds.
Yeah, I think I know what's going to happen here. Everybody, don't forget that we do have a giveaway. Ty has graciously donated a digital copy of the Nuovarden core rulebook. Type !drawing in the chat to be entered to win for that. And if you want to get in on some digital assets for your VTT gameplay with Nuovarden, join the mailing list. There's a link in the chat. You can go over to adventureslang.com. Join the mailing list and get in on some culture tokens and some art pack and an art pack #1. Good stuff. And we'll be back in 5 minutes. We'll see you then. Speaking of coming back, hey everybody, we're back. It's the Spear Adventures Guild Nuovarden edition. We're deep into our investigation in this beautiful city. And we've got some stolen things to recover. And, well, you know how that's going to end. You guys, so great to have you back. Wanted to quickly remind people about the giveaway. We are giving away a digital copy of the Nuovarden Core rulebook. So ! drawing to get in on that. And Ty has also graciously offered up some assets for your VTT gameplay if you sign up on the Nuovarden Adventure Slang email list. So there's a link there. So there are lots to do if you're watching, folks. And then finally, I should also remind you that if you want to influence the fates of how the game plays out, you can use bits to donate grant a player of your choice with a reroll opportunity, which is huge because the reroll opportunities give us more opportunities to do crazy stuff with our manifestations, like make drums out of nothing, which is so cool. That was my favorite thing so far.
Yeah.
Anyhow, back to you, Ty.
All right. So when we last left off, the group had decided to wander through town, look around. They ran into an individual named Graf, an Asgard drummer, also curiously armored, and reasonably willing to entertain a few questions. They even invited him to join the troupe, and he said, no, thank you. And played a drum for a few seconds before it was quickly manifested and quickly went away. And anyway, so the group has started to feel their way around this town, trying to get an idea about what's going on, and slowly piecing together some things, particularly with regard to Tosh having apparently been recruited by some shadowy figure who has asked for help collecting on rumors and things that people are talking about in regard to the well-being of the town, as well as Ode, who observed something echoing in their past life memory with regard to some item that was delivered by a faction called the Goodwill Reclaimers to the governor's residence. And the group is still trying to work through, like, who are these Goodwill Reclaimers? Who is this governor? What might be going on? Along the way, Ode filed a petition and complaint with the governor to have their stuff returned to them. A bewildered Kakut's guard took the information down and offered within a few days or a week to report back with perhaps an opportunity to have audience with the governor or some representative about said item that is ambiguously referred to as a piece of Ode's chest. So at that point, the group then meandered further towards the bridge in search of and following their ear to music, which is just being warmed up, and that's where we pick up. So you do find the foot of the bridge just at the point of entrance, and there is a troupe of Asgard performers just getting into music, and they're playing. They play stringed instruments, and they sing, and they dance, and it is really a remarkable spectacle. You have heard that the Asgard people are really good at this stuff. They are renowned for their artwork. They are renowned for their tattoo work, the Asgard. They are renowned for the beautiful way, the performances and things. And similar to the incredible pies that the grandmother and the grandson made over at the booth, also Asgard, it's all just sort of heady, of kind of a washing over of joy and pleasure just to see these performers and hear them. And they perform for some time, and there's quite a crowd gathered around listening and watching. And there's also still the milieu of people moving back and forth onto the bridge, off of the bridge. You have been in town now probably for close to 2 hours. Plenty of daytime left before the darkening. You have observed and made note of certain places where you may be able to rest for the night. And Ode has a token in their pocket, good for apparently establishing credit at some establishment of their choice.
Tosh.
Sorry, Tosh. Yes, Tosh has it. So you listen to the music for a while, and if you wish to stay on listening to the music, you go through the first act of their performance, and there appears to be a lull, some break as they take time away to relax their voices and to get off the stage. But they're not so far away. You had mentioned perhaps curious to speak to them, and it seems like that is not outside of the realm of possibility. If you were still interested in doing that, you also have the bridge that extends northward toward the north hub of Akshalo. So what do you wish to do?
You know, Tosh, musicians often have their thumb on the pulse of a city. They may have some interesting knowledge to share with us. Recipes, if you will.
Okay. Tosh will stand up for where they are and just kind of beeline it for the musicians.
Oh. And First Foundation will kind of follow behind.
I guess we're going here.
Okay. As you approach the group, there's a good 8 or so individuals, and they're all doing various. Some of them are just, one of them sitting down and actually smoking something in a pipe, and another is looks like they're rummaging through a chest or some sort of container. Some of them are maybe tuning instruments or just like moving a pile of cloth to the side. And the first one that you approach is a woman, an Nazgul woman, and she's messing with the curtain trim of the little frame that's around their very low makeshift stage, and just adjusting that sort of casually.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. And she's just immediately, there's this open energy to her, and she's got a yellow cloth gown, very much similar to what you see among the Asgal style. It has a copper ring around the neck that then the gown attaches over her torso, her chest and torso, down to her waist, which is then also belted. And then again, that long loincloth that descends down about mid-thigh and then continues just in a sort of drape down to the ankles. And she's got rings and some earrings and wonderful coloration of greens and purples and reds in that she's dyed into the down of her skin. And she says, "Are you fans of the troupe? Is that what you're?" I'm Alagaro, by the way.
Hi, I am Tosh. I did enjoy your music. I especially enjoyed it when you broke up the monotony of melody with sharp banging of the drums and splashes to make sure that everyone followed the beat.
Yeah, that was my son, actually. He does that, but doesn't it bring something? I think it brings something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Normally I live in as much silence as possible, so this is a very much welcomed and enjoyable distraction. Speaking of distraction, can you tell me anything about the governor of this city or interesting people of this city? For I am new to everything.
Sure, I suppose so. And her eyes kind of roam toward a bronze bowl that's set at the foot of the stage that looks like it has a few bits in it.
Oh.
And she's just sort of like, yeah, what would you like to know? The governor, huh?
Tosh will reach into their sack and pull out one of their rations and put it in the bowl.
Okay. I've heard a number of things, actually, with regard to the governor. Let me tell you what I've heard. Oops. Yeah, she says, well, actually, I heard that the governor, and she gets sort of conspiratorial, died several weeks ago and they haven't made an announcement.
The governor has died several weeks ago and they have not made an announcement.
I mean, it's just what I heard. It's just what I heard.
Wait. Hold on. And I'm like rudely overhearing this. Just push them aside and insert myself into this conversation. The governor died?
I
have an audience with him, and they told me to put me on a waiting list.
You have an audience.
You might be waiting quite some time, Ode.
That's just not gonna fly.
Now, everyone, hold on. I'm just saying it's just something I heard. We hear things, right?
Yes. Why would they keep this a secret? Wouldn't it not be beneficial to appoint a new governor as soon as possible?
Well, I mean, I don't know necessarily what the machinations are of the way things work. This is something, right? This suggests that maybe it's not even true. Yeah, because Governor Durham Yalonk has been governor for a very long time, and as is tradition at Akshalokhan, the Yalonk family runs things for a while, and then they step down, and the Nalnik family runs things for a while, and then the Yalonk family runs things, and there's a very long tradition there. So I'm sure that if something were to have happened, that the families are speaking.
So when one dies, the other takes over.
Or steps down.
Sounds like it'll take a really long time to figure all that out, though.
It's been a while since we've had a change of governance. Yeah.
Do you know where these two families primarily reside?
Oh, they have residences all throughout the town, and regionally.
Yeah.
Would the new governor move into the governor's mansion before they did this handover?
Not that I mean, I don't know what goes on behind the wall. So I don't know if they actually would have a temporary chamber or something for the incoming governor, or if I doubt they would, I've never thought of it.
So it's like empty right now.
Oh no, I doubt it's empty. I don't. Okay, so let's do this. Let's play a game. I
love games.
All right. I like this too. This is fun. And then she looks over at the troop and she's like, it's gonna be a little bit. Let's pretend that it's up to us and that the governor died.
Okay.
What would we do? Would we leave it empty? Or would we bring someone else in immediately? Or do you think that maybe there's a structure in place already to handle these sorts of things until the formal translate? I mean, I'm sure they'll let us know.
I think it would look really suspicious if, like, a new governor moved in before they announced the old governor died, right? Wouldn't that look odd?
Yes. And historically, the two families are very close. I don't think that there's going to be any sort of, bad stuff going on.
Like, can one of the families jump the line?
I just really wouldn't suggest that. It wouldn't fit all that I know about.
Was the governor popular in this city?
Yes, actually, he was. The families have been well respected for so long. The city has been around 60 years or so, And so, there have not been a huge number of governors. I have only seen the last two. I barely remember the Darum's relative before the Nalnik family member, and then Darum, who took over as well. So, yeah, it seems to be working fine. It's just a rumor. You asked, I can't help myself. It's gossip.
These rumors that you're hearing, who did you hear this rumor from?
I talk to a lot of people.
Fair answer.
I know. I don't
Drunk
recall.
people are very talkative.
Yeah.
They are.
Why would I like? Well, does anyone know if it was foul play, or was he old? Was he sick?
Well, that's something else I heard. Before I heard. No, wait a minute. Was it before or was it after? At some point, I heard that he was sick, but then that he made a miraculous recovery. So, I can't remember what order I heard that in. It's entirely possible that we thought he died, and then he made a great recovery. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit forgetful. It can't have been that long ago that I heard that. It's just I haven't seen him. But things are still, operational.
Does the governor normally make appearances in public?
Around festivals, things like that. When he was younger, Durham is older. You can never tell by looking at a land plaque. They're so robust, even in their old age. But I can't say that I've seen him recently, and by recently I mean in a few months. But if he's been recovering, that makes sense.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much if the governor's men have taken your information to the governor. There must be a governor to take the information to. A city ungoverned would be a difficult city to manage.
Maybe they're just not saying that he's around because it would be difficult to manage without a governor. Like, would people panic, or they wouldn't know who to go to, so they're just pretending he's still alive? We need to break into his house and find out if he's dead or not.
Now, that is not a good idea. I wouldn't.
I think that might be rash, Ode, to announce. Are you the Twilight Glade bringers?
Singers. Yes.
Yes.
You've heard of us. You've heard of us.
Yes, we have. A good friend of ours suggested that we seek you out for your melodic interludes.
A good friend indeed. I concur. I don't know this person, but I concur.
I can assure you we don't have plans to break into the governor's mansion, and if other people like us came asking about rumors, that would not be a valuable rumor to spread. And he has a couple of gore hooves, and he's going to throw the two gore hooves into the collection basket.
Okay. Of course. Of course. You know what, though? Since you're so inquisitive, I might as well tell you. Now, you're not. I mean, I've never met you before, but you're not from here. Yeah, you don't live here or anything.
I forget the name of the town more than often.
You forget Axelo. We refer to it as Axelo, but Axelo Account is the full name. It doesn't matter. But the thing is that I don't know if I should even suggest this. There is an oracle that many people consider beyond their prime. They refer to them as the Wizard of Chanplak Hollow. But it's said that they know a lot of things. which are true or which are ravings, I couldn't tell you. But if you're really curious about things, you could seek them out if what you need to know is obscure, vast, important, or if you're just curious. I can tell you what else I've heard.
That is quite interesting. Perhaps we should seek counsel with the wizard at some point while we're here.
They live about half a day's journey away. So that's why I'm suggesting, I don't really know if I could even recommend them. But if what you're wondering is really important, they may know more than anybody from what I've heard. Again, I don't stand behind anything that I'm telling you. I'm just being honest.
It is refreshing.
I have one more question for you.
Of course.
If you see and hear nothing, is there meaning in it?
I can't say that I embrace that philosophy at all. If you can't hear it, no. If you can't see it, no. It sounds like void. And I think that's rather antithetical to what I embrace as valuable. These are
Thank you.
fascinating questions, of course. Yes. I do stand behind that statement, by the way.
I have one final question before we bid you goodbye.
Of course.
What can you tell us of the Svarnil Plak runes?
Oh. Well, that's an interesting question and probably a good one for the wizard. I would say they are abandoned, as far as I know. They actually, several people, there's a number of those abandoned settlements in the area, within reach of Akshalo, a day or so, all around. That's perhaps one of the nearer ones. Historical residents of the Lamplak people. I don't know that there's. It's sort of mysterious, up in the air. Who knows what's there now? It was places that I believe that the Nalnik family were residents there before our time.
Mm.
I mean, all of us,
Yes. Do people from Akshalo visit there frequently, or is it?
Explorers, explorers. They come and go. I think much perhaps like yourselves. Oh, unless you are emissaries from your communities, it's specifically here for some purpose.
Yes.
Oh, you are. Okay. Well, your general explorer, herald of the community, of whichever community they come from, they'll go to those places to see if they can find information or items or things that they're looking for particular to themselves. So yes, it's a popular pastime for a good number of people. And some people go to those places though, and they don't come back, sadly. I don't do those things. I stay here and play music.
Well, thank you, Alagaro.
My pleasure. And thank you. And she motions to the donation bowl.
That is full of a day's full of rations into giant hooves.
Yeah. And in fact, someone comes from behind her, scurrying over to empty it into a larger plant fiber sack, and then puts the empty bowl back out for the next performance and scurries off with the goods. And she says, well, I didn't get your names, but don't worry, because I won't remember them anyway, and I don't mean that in any sort of offensive way. But if you come back and talk to me again, I might remember we had this conversation, and then I'll learn your names, and then I might remember them for the third time that we have another conversation. I'm just tracking these things as I think of them.
Goodbye. Josh just walks away.
I think that bodes well for us, friends. Perhaps the musician will forget about our intent to break into the governor's mansion.
We should totally do that. Like, I need to know if I'm wasting my time here. And if there is an exchange of power, then, like, maybe the new governor won't be so nice to work with and he won't honor returning objects to their original owners.
I also need to know why people aren't mentioning it. A death is something you should at least mention to others, especially the family of the ones affected. But also, who would want to kill a governor if they did okay?
Right. And then the other thing is, did somebody kill him and then he got better? Because she said that he was super sick and he made a recovery, but then she said that he also died.
Perhaps he was repaired and brought back into service somehow.
Or it could be subterfuge. She did not say that she saw him after he got better. They could have said he was sick, and then he did perish. And then someone simply said he's fine in order to keep up an illusion.
I'm intrigued by how quickly our curiosity about the world has turned to suspicion.
Every answer I receive spurs more questions.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if we need to steal my thing back. I just need to know if the governor is actually dead or not, because if I'm on a list that no one's going to look for and we're going to wait for days to find out that there's a new governor, we got to be prepared for that.
Well, my only question is, and this might sound shocking to you, I've never broken into a governor's mansion, and the people who defend it look to be rather sizable. So, do we have a plan?
Say break in, I'm just gonna, disappear some walls, and then we'll just, like sneak in and check it out, and then, we'll be like, oh, he's fine, and then we'll just sneak back out the way we came in.
That is a very good plan. If you were to remove a bit of wall, I could quickly fabricate an open gate, and the gate was open. We simply walked right in.
Well, I mean, the wall will come back, in like a couple of seconds.
Oh, it would not be permanent modification.
No, usually my modifications aren't permanent.
But even if it's only for a second, it is truth that the gate was open and we simply entered.
Senior Seer. Question.
Yes.
One or two questions. How many people can I bring with me with a dimensional door, and how far can I activate that?
Well, the dimensional doorway is just an opening into.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, into you can teleport yourself, and if you roll, if you were to go high success, you could bring one more with you.
Oh God,
we have a lot of ways to get into a place.
Yeah, we really do.
We're designed for this.
I mean, as long as the house isn't made of people, we're fine.
And we don't
any
intend...
kind of material. It's just really easy for me to turn into something else.
And you say, Ode, that you do not intend to steal anything because, well, that could get us into trouble if we're simply looking to speak with the governor.
Well, I just want to make sure that he's not dead.
Very good.
And any other plans that happen after we find out he is dead, we'll think about that later.
I'm strangely comfortable with that.
Sounds like a plan. What time of day is it?
Right now it's midday, but of course, if you want to just sort of wait until the darkening, that's fine. Is there anything you want to do? Assuming this is what you're doing, is there anything you want to do before
So.
the twilight?
Probably find a place to stay.
Okay.
Right? Do we want to get a room at the hostel type of place, or do we want to keep it in case we have to run out of town?
Actually, well, with that said, if you guys want to establish a place to stay, that's great. But Tosh is going to go try to find that seer, that oracle that the
The
singer
wizard
mentioned, the wizard, and so we can answer that question in case the answer is book out of the city, which is, it shouldn't be. A little bit of jail time, give a few hooves, we'll be fine.
Would we have time to go there to Chonlock Hollow?
Tosh just looks directly up and goes, well, it looks to be about midday. We should probably do a breaking and entering during the darkening. We should still have some time.
You would be able. So based on what Oligaro said, you would be able to get there with plenty of daylight, assuming you have no trouble on the way. You would not get back, depending on how long you stayed there, especially until after the darkening, if you wanted to come all the way back, because you're talking, it's a 7-hour trip, so it's a good part of the day.
Oh, good God! I thought they were in the city. Never mind.
They're not in the city. No.
Oh, see, Lamar.
Let me double check that. Let me double check that time frame.
Yeah, no. I thought this was somewhere close. I'm sorry.
So we would get back after the darkening, meaning that the next day we would get back.
Well, it depends on if you traveled in the twilight or not. Let me double check my map.
If we're back by dark.
If they're outside of the city, then Tosh would I thought there was just an oracle in the city.
Actually, let me collect the time. I'm sorry, the time frame is 4.5 hours, not 7.
Still 8. That's still an 8-hour trip.
But you do have about so it's a 14-hour day. You have like 10 hours of light left, which would give you a window, if you wanted to do that, of 2-ish hours.
Yeah, I thought they were around the corner, so I'm willing. Tosh would be like, I think talking to them might be helpful, but like a long trip is a long trip to do before we have to do a B&E.
Should we stake out the place?
That's what I was just thinking.
Probably a good idea, actually.
But we do intend to break in this evening.
Right. I mean, but if we're just like hanging out in the neighborhood and we happen to see the governor waving on his balcony, then we don't need to go in there.
That's a very good point. Hey, thanks for the bits, Bleak. You can actually donate those as Fortune's favor to players of your choice.
Nice.
Hey, Seer.
Yes.
These creatures that I am able to summon from the void, would I have any way to communicate to them in beyond just a general, these are pets communications, rather seeing through or having telepathy? I'm literally asking.
The issue with the summon thing is that you don't really have any control of them.
Yep, that would do it. Poop. All right. I mean, it's a true summon. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that grows that plan. Although, if I did summon a big scary monster, it could cause a big ruckus, and we could use that as a distraction.
No question of that.
Or you could summon a very small robber bird and just create chaos.
Tosh looks through their brain Rolodex to see if that's something they can actually do.
You can attempt to summon a number of creatures in equivalent IS injury scale to yours,
Don't think I can summon
or
a bird.
twice that number on a high success. But you'd be shooting for a target, and then it would depend on how well you're able to wrangle that manifesting energy.
Would I know what the target for that robber bird would be?
It's so those rubber birds are not real hail. They're only a single. They have a single injury point. So you could bring in 4 to 8 of them.
You can really inside the governor's mansion.
Why would you give me this ammunition? Okay.
Because I want to see how crazy you can get.
Hey, thanks, Phantom.
With the end of your life.
We each got one more fortune point from Phantom.
Thanks, everybody, for the fortune points. We're going to need them.
Yes, we are. We're hatching a plan here.
Yeah.
Is that for the seer as well, or is that the players only?
It looks like the players only this time, Ty.
Okay,
I'm so
all right.
sorry.
Fair. No, that's fine. I have other things up my sleeve.
Reasons to kill us. Yeah, so I guess we're going to go to the governor's mansion and try to just kind of get a stake out. Tosh is going to try to develop some type of pattern or weakness in the actually Tosh is not smart. Tosh would just be watching for patterns.
Okay. All right. So you all meander away from the bridge and back and past the pie booth and on down the street. And when you approach the palisade outside the governor's residence, it's like an 8-foot wooden palisade, and the wagons are gone, the bird creatures are gone, all the reclaimers are gone, all that stuff is away from the front. They've moved on, and there's no obvious opening. You can see where it would open, like the walk-in entrance closed, any sort of larger gate for wagons or anything closed. And there are just guards stationed here and there. And they don't look like they just stand in one place. They sort of just, they're a couple of them will be standing next to each other, having a conversation. Maybe one is just leaning against the palisade, watching the street. A couple more, maybe a pair of them on patrol moving through. So it's just kind of appears to be sort of random at the moment, but there does appear to be a handful of them that do sort of loiter or linger around the front of that long wall. And that wall goes down probably about, say, like 2 blocks. And then before it cuts back away from the street and toward a field and open area that eventually leads to a copse of trees. And then there you see that there are homes just dotted into the forest from there. So the governor's residence, walled, appears to be more at the edge of the city, which seems to be a curious arrangement. But and then there's one more outbuilding outside of the palisade, off of the road on that far side, outside of the city, which may be a barracks.
Hey, Ty.
Yeah.
What is my limitation on scrying?
If you know the target, it would be a standard difficulty.
Okay.
If you don't, it would be increased.
Let's try to scry the governor.
Okay. Okay, so this is going to be an increased difficulty, which means you would have to roll a success and then use primacy to bump it.
And that's 1 die. You can't use any more than that.
No, you could use 2. You can use 2.
Yes.
However, you can only do it once outside of turn order.
Yeah, that's fair. Unfortunately, as much as I hate it, that is fair. And let this be a lesson to those who are watching to read your character sheet, because the word scrying was right on there. Darn it! Okay.
What'd you get?
A 1 and a 3.
Okay, now this is a manifestation, which means that is a high failure. Do you want to bump it just so that you avoid it? Oh, and I see that
is there a way
foundation.
that First Foundation could possibly assist?
Let's see.
Also, by the way,
Yes.
can you remind me what a fortune point is to see if that helps with anything?
That's a reroll. You get to reroll at 1 die.
Thank you, audience, for this reroll that I'm about to take of 1 die. Anyway, about this critical failure I'm about to take.
Okay.
No.
First Foundation, I'm going to say you cannot assist on this one because it's way outside of anything that you would be able to contribute.
Sure.
However, what Tosh can do is spend the primacy point to avoid the risk of that injury if you wish to.
Oh, it's going to hurt me if I fail this.
It could. It might not, but it could.
You know what? Tosh did it to himself.
All
I'm
right.
not going to do it. We're going to let it hurt. Don't let it hurt.
Oh, well, it hurt.
Oh.
So you're trying, you're like, okay, all right, everybody, be quiet. And you try to, like, who is this governor? And you go, and you like pop a vessel and you take an injury, a point of injury, and for just a moment, you're afflicted. You're not, your brain's addled. It doesn't last very long. In this particular situation, it's not really going to affect you. But for a minute, you're like, you almost pass out. You don't know where you're at. And the other two you see as Tosh is like, nope.
Are you okay? I'm looking around to see if anybody's noticing this.
Other than my general anxiety and the massive headache I just gave myself, I suppose I am fine.
If anyone notices, they're not really making a big spectacle of it. They're just like, what's going on over there?
If they haven't said anything until now, they're not going to say anything.
Somehow we're the strangest and yet most mundane people in the town, I'm sure. Yeah, I tried to use the void to find the governor, but I really failed. Someone might say critically. Twice. Someone might say I critically failed twice.
Are you sure that it was you failing, Tosh, and not the fact that the governor is not there to scry upon?
Well, both of those things could be true. I can definitely tell you.
What happens if you try to scry a dead person? Is this what happens?
Actually, Ty, what would happen if I did try to scry a dead person? Because scrying becomes one of those weird things in fantasy.
No. If you were able to break through and actually locate essentially the object of your focus, you would be able to see whether or not you could tell they were dead. Would not be necessarily obvious. They could look unconscious. They could look asleep. They could look dead. If you could see them. And the other thing about manifestation energy is even when it's not visible, a lot of times you can sense it. So you know that this was more of a backlash of mismanaged manifestation energy rather than, something connected to any defensive or other factor that moved beyond your ability to manifest.
Just wanted to make sure. Imagine Tosh said all that, but with less words.
No.
You keep working on it, buddy.
No.
Other than that, as you are looking at this, you have this wall, you have those guards. There's not a lot to go on, right? Like what's behind the wall, you don't know. Where's the governor? You don't know. Tosh tried to find the governor, that didn't work. It's a little so far. You're struggling here. Your amateur detective skills are on display.
Does it look as though there's a spot where we could get a vantage point to look into, like, over the wall, a nearby building, perhaps, or that's higher than
there
the
are
wall?
tall enough buildings, perhaps, but then that's a different point of access, right? So potentially you can get high enough to see part of the yard or the layout if you could get there
helpful.
without.
Let's see if we can get up there and get a better perspective.
Okay.
So what you have, the nearest tall building that you have looks like it might be a combination of a residence and an abandoned business. The lower part doesn't look like it's open, and in fact is boarded up. And then above that, so that it's kind of it's like a 2-story structure. There is a very old external staircase that is blocked off at the bottom so people don't climb it. It doesn't look like it's in all that great a repair. And then there is a top half. There is a wooden balcony with a railing up there and 2 glass doors, it looks like, or 2 doors with large glass windows inserted in them with curtains drawn over them. And so from the street side, that's kind of what you're looking at. And it's probably about 20, I'll call it 30 feet. No, it's going to be further than that because you've got another building in between this outside wall of the palisade and that one. So it's probably about 60 feet removed from that corner of the palisade, looking at it from across the street.
And there's a wooden barrier blocking passage up the stairs. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's not a massive barrier or anything. It's just clearly cordoned off so people don't wander up there and injure themselves or trespass.
Can we physically bypass it, or would it be a yeah?
No, you could definitely physically bypass it. It's obvious if you do try to. It's daylight, but other than that, it's not a big barrier.
Tosh,
Can I
can you
use my magic to move it? Like, just disappear it for a second? Or, like, lift it and then put it back down?
Well, like I say, it's not really big. It's not intended to utterly stop anybody.
Okay.
It's more
you could do that if you wanted to.
Seen going in there. Tosh, is there a way for you to obscure our passing through this barrier? Put up some sort of reflective surface, or
Yes.
I could... no, go ahead.
No, feel free. I still have a filled blood vessel in the back of my eye.
Too soon. I'm sorry, my friend.
Okay, I could make these steps into like a wall of wood so that people could see us. Or are the steps wood? Or are they?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I could, just they'd see like a wall of wood, but they wouldn't see us.
Let's do it.
All right. I will use my
What's
magical
the worst that could
powers.
happen?
So hold on one second. So you're wanting to change the form of the stairs. Is that
Right. I am making
or you're wanting
one
to
of
bring
the steps higher, like so it blocks the whole entryway. So I guess it would be an 8x8 ish.
So yeah, you could go to
wood.
8 feet tall. Yeah, 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide if you wanted. It wouldn't have to be 8 feet thick if you didn't want it to be. 8 feet. 8 feet, though, keep in mind, is like half of it. Right? because it's 2-story.
Oh.
If you were to do a high success, however, then you could go 16 feet. Actually, you could go 12 feet. So, but anyway, you could get mostly up there before somebody could actually see you going up there. They would just see this wall, right?
I could manifest darkness.
Oh, interesting.
Then
like a light reversal.
Yeah. If we wanted to, it would just get really dark. But then, you know, we might trip.
And you want to try and do your wall?
Sure.
At least you can see, right?
Try to do the wall. Why not?
Okay.
I believe in you, Ode. You got this. Believe in yourself. As we believe in you. Believe in
Hey,
yourself,
thanks for the
man.
raid, Epic Realms. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're getting into this game. We are
Realms!
breaking
Welcome.
and entering in the world of Nuovarden. Thank you for being here.
I got a 3 and a 4, but I can use my primacy to bump that to a 4, right? And then I have double 4s.
That's correct.
Oh my
Privacy!
gosh.
All right. So, so you essentially make a wall of wood. You stretch the wood to 12 feet.
Go.
All right. So you're across the street. Who's going? Yeah, that's a good question. Now you don't have to actually hold it because it's there now. So it's out of your hands.
Okay.
If you're crossing the street and you're on the far side of the street, so figure that the street itself, they're pretty wide. That's like, 20 feet, which is part of your movement. So then you've got this, 20 foot, probably more like 15 foot total distance up to the top of that staircase. Oh, wow.
Thank you, Cardman.
Nice job, Cardman.
Thank you, Godman.
Thank you.
Primacy battery over there.
Use it all.
So
Yeah.
for everyone's understanding, including the audience, this 12-foot wall is there, which is a pretty good cover considering you're looking at blocking 15 feet. Now, does anybody notice that wall suddenly appear? That's a different question. However, the thing that Ode needs to remember is if you want the wall to stay there long enough for people to make that climb, you may have to continue it, right? So you may need to use more of your action to actually maintain it.
Okay.
Something to keep in mind. The question now is, however, there's the wall. It appears. What's everyone doing?
I'm going to go up the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you cross over 20 feet, another 12 feet up the stairs. So you get up there and you go clomping up there pretty quickly. All of you are going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Somebody says, where did that come from? But you get up there, you're near the top, which is great because the wall is going to last until the end of the next turn. You reach the top of the stairs. Ode, you can feel the walls holding. It's going to drop pretty soon unless you want to maintain it. But first foundation, you're the first one up there, and you peek over, and you can look down into and it is a yard. So the palisade makes a wall around the complex. It's not huge. The building itself isn't huge as far as it's not 2-story, it's single story. It looks like, however, it's got a pretty big footprint. So there are probably numerous rooms or large, like probably a large antechamber and then other, who knows what's in there. There's probably a kitchen and a dining and all that sort of stuff. So it's a pretty big footprint as far as total square footage. And then that wall goes all the way around it and there's yard around it. And then there are guards sprinkled, it looks like within the yard as well. And that's like your overall take. Tosh and Ode, you also get up there and you're like, looking as best you can and seeing a similar sort of thing. You cannot see the entire, like, it's not total bird's eye because of the angle that you're at. So the close wall blocks off just by virtue of that angle from you being able to see the close side of the yard. So whatever's over there, it's hard to tell, but you can estimate that it's probably a similar kind of situation. Yeah. And then as you're processing the information, Ode, what do you want to do with the wall as it's nearing the end of its
I
span?
will try to maintain it.
Okay.
I won't try super hard, but like, is it only 1/4 to maintain, or does it have to be double force?
You can use either. But considering that you're technically out of turn order, you might as well just use 2.
Okay.
It increases your chances and you're not gonna.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So you're like, I don't know, do you say anything?
Oops.
So just like, you're looking and you're like, okay. And then you hear, oops. And then smack, no more wall. And you're standing up there on the staircase. And it looks like a couple of guards have actually moved in that direction. And they're like, hey, you 3, get down here. Come here.
I got this.
Let Tosh do the talking.
Tosh will walk down, and they're gonna play up the fact that they have their blind door on.
Okay.
I don't know why I can't say like whatever it's called.
Blindfold.
Blindfold. Jeebus. He'll go, hi, my name is Tange.
Okay.
What can I do for you?
Well, the fact of the matter is you're trespassing and you're snooping. So we need everybody get down here. What are you doing, Tanch?
Oh, I just wanted, my friends wanted to see things, and we're just seeing things. So as you see, I am needing help, and you can go away now. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to have you make a mundane mind roll.
Oh, it's the most mundane mind roll.
So it's a call roll mind.
It's all mundane. That's a 4.
Okay.
Oh.
They're like, there's no real reason why we should go away. Your friends need to get down off of there. That's private property.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Foundation.
Or we can arrest you.
Walk down when he hears that.
Okay.
Good officers, thank you for finding our friend. As you can see, he has made his way through the city, and we thought we had lost him, but now we are found, and all is well.
Oh, did you come down too?
Oh yeah, I'm just trailing down after.
That Cahoots guard that you talked to earlier that took your information comes wandering over as well. And he's like, you again? And who are these people? And he comes, walking over. Now, the other 2 guards are both lamplack, and they're about a good half a foot taller than this guy, but this guy's pretty, imposing as well. But he's like, look, and he bends down to you, Ode, and he's like, look, I told you it would be a few days, at least. You got to stop worrying about whatever you think we've got in there because you're playing with fire here. Well, that's probably not a good way to put it. Okay,
Well,
that's not what I mean.
Fire,
I know. Yeah. Sorry, no, I mixed up my words. You got to stop creeping around here, or we're gonna have to take you in.
I didn't know there was a law against being a tourist in this town.
You're trespassing.
We're just seeing a really nice view.
There's nothing to see here.
It is a quite honest mistake, sir. We apologize. My friend Tanch here
Yes,
wanted to get a better view
Of?
and of the city. And could I
The
ask
city's
you a
that way.
question? Is the
Well, why
governor
not?
dead?
Oh, I mean, no, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. This is what Ella gets for leaving us alone 2 days.
He straightens up and he says, "Why would you ask that?"
We
Oh, hold on.
We
All
are-
right. That's the thing. Just hold on a minute. He takes out that roll, and you recognize that it's the one that he rolled before, and he's like, no. And he puts it back, and he takes out a different one, and then he unfurls it, and he takes out that charcoal bit, and he's like, okay. All right. First of all, I know you. Ode, O-A-D. See other document. Okay, you. Wotan, what's your name? Give me your name.
This one is called Second Foundation.
Second foundation.
Foundation.
S-H-U-N?
Probably.
Okay. W. All right, you Tanch. Okay, Tanch.
Yes.
I-X. Okay. All right. Okay. Where are you staying? How long have you been in town, actually? First of all, how long have you actually been here?
That's
Man, it's been a couple of hours at least.
Okay, so today. And
we're having a brilliant time, by the way, in your fair city. The music.
yeah, we're spending too much time over here by the governor's
Pies are
residence.
good.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, if I could be so bold, he pulls out the piece of pie and offers it.
Sorry, we're on duty. I don't know if you're aware of this, by the way, Second Foundation, but that could be considered bribery. Those pies are really good, so you better consider your behavior. Yeah.
Yes, you're talking to me, of course.
Did I have that wrong? Sorry, second. Is it with a K?
Probably.
Okay. Nope. All right. Okay. So are you staying now? Are you staying here?
Funny you ask. We were looking for possibly a recommendation on lodging for the night. Perhaps 2 nights.
I can take care of that for you right now. If we can't get this figured out any other way, so I can give you free lodging.
Splendid.
Yeah.
Free.
Okay. Oh no, that's not a problem.
Well, at least let me offer you the pie in exchange for your trouble.
We have one brain cell and Ella has
He rolls up the thing and he puts it back and he puts the thing away. Thank you. I'll take that. Guards, take them in, please.
Oh.
He takes the pie, and the guards they move around you. And they're like,
Finally, we're getting in.
Does this mean we get to see the governor?
oh, well, we'll see about that. But let's go this way for now. And they escort you in front of the palisade, around that far side, toward that other outbuilding, and into that building. They take you into the side entrance, the right-hand entrance, and it's like a long building, like ranch house style. And they take you into the right third. And inside there now, interestingly enough, and this is actually Ode and First Foundation, this is particularly interesting to you. There are cells in here, like Old West jail style. The metal bars of these cells are a fascinating element. Like, they are not bronze.
Oh no.
And so they say, okay. So the Kakoots that you've been talking to goes up there, and there's a Kakoo in there, similar, sort of ironically similar to the Barrow that you met, an avian Kakoo, but not the same markings or it's a different person. And the guard's like, okay, I've got here, I've got the record here. You can copy it down. This says Second Foundation, Ode and Tanch. They've been visiting here, but there's something going on here. So, they keep talking about wanting to see the governor. They were spying on the compound and things like that. So we're going to hold them for a little while. And they record your information and escort you into these behind the bars. They put Tanch and Ode into one, and they put First Foundation into the other.
Question.
What are the accommodations? Oh, sorry.
Question. One, has Tosh been inside of a jail cell before?
Not that I know of.
Very good. Two, is there any magical or manifest BS that would prevent Tosh from teleporting out of the jail cell?
That's the thing.
Damn it.
When you pass these bars, you can feel a dead zone. Once you pass that barrier of that metal, that there's no energy.
No manifestation energy
in there. Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. And this is not super unknown. This element is not an unknown element. It is used for blocking manifestation energy in a number of ways. Actually, First Foundation, you might know what it's called. And Ode, you may as well. Why don't you both give me a called roll just to see how much you know about it?
Not me.
Okay. I will let you use your primacy if it applies.
If you can help.
Okay.
I'm gonna use a reroll though. I'm gonna reroll.
There you go.
Okay.
So, do I need to bump it up with primacy for that?
What did you roll? You rolled a 3?
4.
Oh, you rolled a 4? No, you're good. You're good. You know what this is. Let's see what First Foundation gets.
Nope, I didn't get it with my reroll.
Okay. Yeah. So First Foundation, that something like this exists. Ode, the name that you would refer to it as it's not really a word, but it's called commonly lyrithium. And it just nerfs manifestation energy.
I think First Foundation understands what's happening now. At this point.
Am I close enough to feel its effects? Like, do I notice it that way, or do I see it from a distance and then realize what it is?
I would say you knew. I'd say you suspected when you saw it.
Whoa! Wait a minute! Wait! And you said you were taking us to the governor.
No, I said I was giving you accommodations.
We refused them.
I will use my magical ability to put myself in a ball of water. So if they are manhandling me, they will also be in my big ball of water.
Now
Let's see how that goes. Okay. Is anyone else resisting, or are you?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Let's go and do this first. Ode, go ahead and make your, attempt your roll.
Oh my gosh.
Can we not chaos activate?
No. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Geez. Okay. Do you want to bump one of those so that you don't risk the injury, or do you want to see what happens?
Sure, I can bump it up to. Yeah, I'll bump.
You can bump the 1 to a 2 and give yourself a recovery.
Sure, but I don't need a recovery, do I?
You don't have to, but what you could do to avoid risking the injury is spend a primacy to bump it to 2 and then get the primacy point back.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you go, oh, wait, no. And they're like, there's like a little spoop, and they're like, oh, no. And they drag you in and put you into the cell. As they're doing that, Tosh, you said you were going to resist. All right, what are you attempting?
I'm going to summon 8 robber birds. Because
Go ahead and try.
Yeah, we're gonna try it.
That was our plan B.
Yep, that's the backup plan.
You guys did it to
Oh
yourselves.
my god.
That's a 4.
Yes.
Yes.
So 4 birds go just like out of nowhere, and they're like, "Oh, for come on!" And these birds are like, they're fluttering around. It's not really enough to stop them from manhandling you.
Yeah, but they now have to deal with birds.
They do have to deal with
there you
birds.
go.
And they're like, "Get in there!" And so they force you two into your cell, and they close it. And
Are they the same cell or different individuals?
those two are in the same cell. They're moving
as they're closing the door, can I manifest like an extra brick that sort of like precludes them from shutting the door all the way? Like it hits the door and it stops it from closing?
I mean, you can go for it. Yeah, give it a
I'd like
shot.
to try that. I'd like to try that so they can't
Give it a
close
shot.
the door.
What did you guys do? We got thrown into prison and then immediately started attacking.
I'm going to use a primacy to bump my 3 to a 4. Primacy!
All right. So as you're doing this, you're like manifesting this thing that didn't. Well, actually, I mean a brick. I guess that's a tech. But you're trying to manifest it. That metal, it doesn't let it. Like this metal doesn't allow that manifestation stuff to happen.
Close.
Oh no!
And the brick starts to form, and then it's like it emerges into a form, and then just goes right through and dissolves.
Oh no!
And they're like, "You 3," and then in goes First Foundation into the cell. Whang, and they close it. And that Kakoots walks up and says, and the birds are like, and he's like, "Get rid of those." And he turns to you and he says, "I don't know what you're all up to." And he points over at O and he's like, "I know you're taking this really seriously, and whatever you think you know about what's going on, but you're messing around with the wrong stuff." And it's making his hackles rise up and his fur bristles. And he's like, "He's really making for a long day." As the other guards are running around trying to get rid of these birds, they like disappear. And they're like, there's just a few bird droppings around, and they're like, "Well, we clean that up anyway." And he's like, "You clean it up." And they're having a little bickering back here. But the main Kakoots guy is like, "Okay, you're going to wait here. Is there anybody else I need to know about? Do I need to contact anybody? Are you with somebody else? What's going on?" Yeah, you.
Could I get my piece of pie back at least?
Takes it out,
Okay.
hands it through the bars to you. Here, take it.
Thank you very much.
One brain cell.
Thank you. That was the nicest thing you've done all day.
That's true.
We're not having any confusion about who was taking that for what, any kind of reason. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's fine.
Listen, you're the one who's all angry and puffy right now.
You know what? I'm just trying to work. Okay. I still have like 7 hours of my shift left. There's a bed. There's a bucket of water. There's an empty bucket. Whatever you need, don't ask. We'll take care of what we'll give you when the time comes. Just kick back and I'll be in touch. Okay. And he starts backing away. Is there somebody I need to know? Is there anybody else?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. You. Tanch, right?
Yes. For a simple trespassing charge, this seems to be rather extreme. Is it safe to say that the governor is dead?
I'm not answering. I'll be back. And he turns with a flourish and goes out the door. And
Tosh will look over to Ode and goes, "If there's no answer, does that have meaning?"
Yeah,
In this case, it does.
I think we said something we shouldn't have said.
Mm.
And that's where we'll leave off for this session.
Oh my God, we're in jail. We went to jail.
As you know what? We've been in this town for 4 hours and we're in jail.
It's about par for the course. Sorry,
We've
Lizzie
done
May.
so much. We saw a parade. We met new friends. We had
You stopped a
pie.
robbery.
We went to went to
became
a musical.
spies?
Stopped.
Yeah, we got recruited by a gang of spies.
We went to a music festival.
This is a hell of a town, Ty. Thank you for bringing
4
this into our
hours.
life.
Yeah, and we've only probably been away from Ela for like 3.
Oh my God.
The
she's gonna
beginning
be
of this
so
day,
pissed.
Ela said, "I'll be back."
I mean, you know, she's our get out of jail free card, literally.
We will find out. We will find out. Well, we'll see.
The Nalmet
Yeah.
card. If you
Yep.
get one phone call. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, you guys. That was awesome. That was super fun. Oh my God. I loved lodging the complaint. That was a great scene. That was really fun. Oh God.
And the pie lady?
Yeah, the pie lady.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
And
So
all
coy.
the robber birds.
Oh my God, this is great. Thank you so much, Ty. Hey, we're gonna give away a digital copy of the Nuovarden core rulebook right now. So if you want to get in on the action, ! drawing, and you got like seconds here, folks. If you want to get your hands on some great digital assets for your VTT when you play Nuovarden, you can join the Adventure Slang mailing list. Go over to their website. The link is right there in the chat. Join the email list. Verify your email. You'll get an email confirmation, I'm guessing, and then you'll be able to access some assets, some digital tokens and art assets for your gaming. All right, let's do this. Let's give this thing away. We'll go to the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Phantom NJ. Hey, Rob.
Right.
Congratulations,
Hey.
Rob, who has
Wow.
also played this game on a live stream. What did Rob play? Rob, what did you play? Lenai?
Nope.
No?
I'll let him tell you.
Asgal, I think is what he said.
Ah, very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well, congratulations to Rob. We are going to go ahead and raid into some friends of ours. I'm looking to figure out who that is. But yeah, let's go around the table while I do that. And let's tell people who we are and where we can be found. Why don't you start us off, Lamar?
Top of the morning to you, lots, lasses, both in neither. My name is Lamar the Con Guy. That's Lemar, the Con Guy. You can find me on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all sorts of things as Lamar the Con Guy. My schedule is coming down just a little bit this week as we have people doing several things. Generally on Fridays, I'm over on the DAT Network playing Adventure Pathfinder 2E game. We are skipping this week because I am away, Utahime is away, so we're trying to breathe for 1 week, but we should be back the following Friday for that stuff. I'll be here next Wednesday doing more Nuovarden here on Guild Superior. Beyond that, I think my schedule is calming down a lot until the very first week of January. Very first full week of January, just January 5th through 8th, I will be at Anime Los Angeles in Long Beach, California, performing so many things. I'm a judge for ALA's Next Top Star. I'm running my own comedy tournament called the Otaku Comedy Tournament, the best comedy tournament you've ever seen at a convention, as well as teaching people about karaoke. Please make sure you follow me on my social medias. I'm just trying to get famous enough so that conventions will invite me to do their stuff and cover my travel fees. I don't want to be really famous. I just want to be that famous. Okay. Make sure I can go to Gen Con cheaply. I want to go to Gen Con cheap famous. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Oh, they'd be fools not to invite you, Lamar. You're awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Let's jump over to Ashley.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley, Minnesota Muse 99 on Twitter, and you can find me here on Tuesdays on Guild Superior for Heroes of Greyhawk, where we have a lot of fun, and I play a different character. And we also have coming up, there's a Basin holiday episode coming up on Monday, the 19th. I think.
Yep.
And so stop by. The production team is playing Basin.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley. I love your geode makeup. That looks so cool. Jump over to Ty, the man who created Nuovarden. Wow.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, that's what we're here for tonight. DungeonMisterTy on Twitter if you want to just say hey. If you want to find out what is going on at Adventure Slang, and particularly with the progress for Nuovarden, this is our first product for the company. We've got more and more cool stuff coming. If you like this at all, we think you might like just the general vibe of what we've got going on. If you want to swing by adventureslang.com, sign up on our mailing list, verify your email, you'll be eligible for those digital assets that we've been talking about. We are hoping that by the end of spring, we can get the rest of Nuovarden produced, and then we can get it out and about as a real live game all in its own little life for the world. And that's kind of our goal. Meanwhile, you will catch us here doing stuff, playing the game, learning more about it right here at Superior Adventurers Guild, and it will show up elsewhere as the months go on. We will also be going to DungeonCon in February as Adventure Slang there, and that's the first con of what we hope will be at least a few, including potentially Gen Con. Also, catch our podcast on the website if you're into that. And we are a little bit behind on this episode this month, but I will tell you right now, we have our own Lamar on the podcast for this month, so that should be out Friday. And we only release it once a month, so but we've got a year worth of great guests on there, and I would love to have you check that out as well. That's enough for me right now. Thanks so much, Dave, for having us on again for this session, and we got lots more coming.
Yeah, Ty, thank you so much for bringing this to Guild Superior. We've been talking about it for a long time, and we're finally doing it. I'm so excited. Big shout out to you for bringing this to life. This is really cool, and I'm having a blast. So thank you. Big shout out also to Phoenixy Wacky and the Raiders that just came in here. We're just wrapping up, so we're gonna raid into Dork Tales next. So hang on, we'll pay it forward, we promise. My name's Dave, Dungeon Dave. I play games, produce games, run games here on Guild Superior. We've got a lot of great stuff coming up. Ashley talked about the Vason game on the 19th. We have our Shade Song game, Bleak Season Run and Shade Song. That is tomorrow, so make sure you get in on that. Stick around for that. And then on Sunday, we have our finale of Blade Runner, which has been just an epic game, just gritty and dark and amazing. And then we're back next Monday with a finale to our Once Upon a Rhyme. Kevin Games is running a 3-shot with that, and it's just been amazing. Great chemistry around the table. We really thank all the players and GMs. I'm going to cut it off there. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and raid our friends at Dork Tales. Give them some love. If you're not following us, please do. If you're following us, consider subscribing. But the most important thing is just to come and hang out with us. We'll see you tomorrow, my friends. Take care.